Hello, hello. Good afternoon, Pia. How are you? My name is Chris. I'll be the trainer for this webinar. We can go forward. Here we go to Authentisign, which is our electronic signature system here at Centris, right? And as you can see, it opens a new window and it loads us into the dashboard of the Authentisign. You can click there on the three lines on the left side to kind of give you the additional tools within this Authentisign tool. But as you can see, we just see signatures from before, from previous times, and the status, right? I'm just going to go a step back to the dashboard of Authentisign, because generally, I mean, as brokers, we would begin, we wouldn't just jump into electronic signature. We would start in InstanetForms, right? We have to design a form, like whether we're doing a brokerage contract and a seller's declaration, or if we're doing, promise to purchase, regardless what it is, right? It generally starts here in the dashboard, right? In the dashboard of the InstanetForms. So I'm just going to go here to transactions, and I'm going to create a transaction. I'm just going to create something, just a generic thing. I click add here to create a transaction. I'm going to call it, what are we, 2023-09-21 dashboard. Sorry, test, let's say. And I'm not going to use any templates. I'm not going to use any type of property. I'm not going to import any data, and I'm just going to say I'm the listing broker, and I'm not going to use the wizard. Okay, and then basically just creating a transaction is essentially creating a folder. Okay? Same as filing things off in your filing cabinet. It starts with nothing. It doesn't know anything, right? It doesn't have any property titles or names, addresses, nothing, because we just started something fresh. So as if we would normally start something for brokerage contract and seller's declaration, for example. And I'm gonna, let's say, add those forms, because we need something to start working with, right? So where is the exclusive brokerage contract? Where is it? EBCS is here. And the, let's say, the seller's declaration. Let's say those two. Add it, right? And again, I mean, we could go editing the form. I mean, in real life you would, but generally speaking, it's not, for us, for our purposes here, it's not an Instanet course, so we're not about to start editing and putting information here. We just want to know that it's there. So once we have something, let's say, assuming all details are perfect, we click on the three dots and we finalize the form. And I do the same thing for the second document. Now we have two, right? So now, obviously, the idea would be to, assuming we have the brokerage contract and the seller's declaration ready for our client, we would click here on signings, click add. I would, give it a title and click save, and then it launches the Authentisign tool itself. Right now, there are no documents added, and there are no signatory persons added either. So those are the things we need to work on. So I'm just going to add the documents first. And as you can see, right away, since we are in a transaction, it has these two. And as you can see, it is literally the one we just finalized 1 minute ago, right? So I'm going to add the brokerage contract. I'm going to add the seller's declaration. Of course, we can add other documents, from elsewhere. We'll worry about that later. But for now, we are essentially done. So we have the exclusive brokerage contract. We have the seller's declaration. If we want to move these around, we can. Let's see, as easy as grabbing it here on the 6 dots here, documents and forms, and off we go, right? So we have the documents, as you can see, assuming all the details are perfect, right? Well, we got to worry about signatures, right? So in signers, I can add myself, I can add a new person, I can add from the transaction, or I can add from contacts. So let's say I'm going to add myself. And of course, this being the corporate login, it's InstanetForms, right? And I'm going to make myself a listing broker. We can put more details in here. We can allow or disallow people to create their own signatures or choose their own fonts. I personally don't have a preference if people choose or write it by themselves. As long as they click on the right place, that's really all I care about, right? As a broker, I just need those electronic signatures to take place. So let's say they've added me here. And let me just scroll down where I should be here on the last page. There we are. So it added me here to, the Centris 10 formation, it's been added, right? And let's say, well, in this case, we also need, let's say, a seller, right? So add participant, and I'm going to add from contacts because I have myself here. Let's say I'm going to choose this one just to use my Hotmail account. And as you can see, the program right away asks, well, to assign the people into specific signing blocks or signing information. So since I'm a seller, I'm going to assign myself there, and I'm going to click assign signature blocks. So it has me qualified as a seller, and I'm also the listing broker. And as you can see, it knew right away where to put me on the forms. I will say that the placement of the electronic signatures on the forms is not always correct. It's not always perfect. It's whatever the programmers did, and sometimes it's okay, sometimes it's a little off. So just check how it appears, okay, before you finalize things. So here, this being the seller's declaration, I'm just going to scroll down, and as you can see, it placed the seller and it placed the broker where it needed. So far, so good. But as you can see, we've placed these things in here. Personally, I'll say that the placement of the signed in field here is a bit, I'm going to say, questionable, okay? Unfortunately, I've noticed as a real estate broker that most people who sign here don't know what to write. They're not looking. And half the time they'll write their name. They might just put some gibberish or something like that. It just looks weird on a contract. Like a lot of times I would prefer to even delete it, and I would go here in the markup tools, and I would put, let's say, signed in Montreal. And so by just annotating in there, it's not something that's user editable. It's just, I put it there. I know OASIC doesn't quite like that because it's really supposed to be the person who signs that they write where they are. However, in today's world, when you do the same thing for the clients. Yeah, see, there you go, right? Because too many people mess up the contracts and the contracts just look weird, right? Unfortunately. So, it's tolerated by the OASIC, but they don't like it. My counter to them is that by clicking on an electronic signature, the system knows your email, it knows your geolocation, and it knows your IP address. If you can't locate someone on the planet using that, so like if they need to know where the person was, they can, right? Yeah, and exactly, you're exactly correct. We do what we can to make it easier and better for our clients, right? See here, I could, you can drag with your mouse, you can arrange them a little bit better, nicer, cleaner, sort of arrange in a row. For the other one, let's say I'm going to keep it there just so we can do both. So I'm not just showing the bad things to do, but let's leave those here. And essentially, let's say we're done with the signatures, all is well. We will just click next. It says finalize setup, and you can click send. You can customize the invites. I've never had a need to customize the invite. I just click send and off it goes, right? And what's interesting here is like with this new system, it allows us, this also, it went out to both people at the same time, right? So it's, there's no order of signing. It's not like one person must sign before the other. We can do that, but with the new system, it seems to be set up a little bit better to deal with it happening at whatever order people so desire. Hold Hold on a second, because it's I can see my Hotmail already arrived. So that's me as seller. Hold on a second here. So I'm just going to show on the screen. See the Authentisign signing invitation arrived, right? That you know that the broker, in this case Formation, just is asking for electronic signature, right? And when I click it, oh, of course it's gonna load it on Microsoft Edge. Okay, hold on a second. I don't like this. That's enough. Hold on one second. Let me force it to open in Google Chrome. It's very weird. There we go. When the system doesn't update, it changes things for you, of course. So participant acknowledgement. So anybody who signs here needs to click they accept first, right? And as you can see, we basically sign off. So we have a signature here. We have well signed in, let's say Montreal. We have to type it in. The system is happy with the moment you click away or the customer clicks away, there's a check mark, and then you have to click where the signature is. And again, a signature here, complete signing. Congratulations, you're done. And let me just also go to my corporate Google account, and I'll do the same thing as the broker. Give me a second for that. So it shows the same thing, signing invitation. And I'll click start signing. So same thing, I accept. And this time around, I'm doing this as the broker, so I'll click start. Let's say Montreal again. Click away, check mark, click on it, and done. And as you can see, that's it. That's all fairly easy, quick, and it flows. And also, once we are here in Authentisign, right? Let's see if I'll refresh this. See, it shows 921 test. Says completed, 2 of the 2 completed. And if you hover your mouse over the show participants, see it says both people's names show up and check marks show up. So let's say if I'll hover over here, see buyer B, there's no check mark. So the person 0 of 1 not completed. Or let's say this one here expired from who knows when. As you can see, if you hover your mouse over there, it says that one person signed and the other person didn't. So just at a glance, you can tell who has done it or who has not. Is there a place to just tell the client where to sign? Not per se. We can annotate on the contract with these sort of, you can draw some arrows or something like that, but that's going to remain on the contract. It's not quite preferable as far as the finalized version of contract to have these annotations. Other than the system guiding along where to click, I think that's pretty much it. Although, you know what, look, we're gonna do another one, and let's see if there's any way to kind of point arrows to the signatory place, right? Or like, let's see if we can force that kind of behavior. Okay. So that, I mean, just to point out, this would be the standard way of signing, a new brokerage contract. We kind of started with nothing, with an empty field. And if we click into here, it'll show both users, both people who were here, that they've been authenticated and approved, meaning it's been done. You can click here on individual forms and certificates. You can download these documents from here, or of course, in your email, you and whoever signs on these electronic forms, they also come in here. You can okay. You're basically referring to just writing an email to your client or a message to your client that you send along with the electronic signature process, right? So you would then have to edit the invitation. That's the part we would have to edit, because that's where you can, like, this invitation for signature is this, what shows up here. So if you want to edit it before you send it out to a client, of course you can, yeah. I know some brokers, they have, like, on a side, let's say something in Mandarin or something in Tagalog or any other language, and they would just copy and paste some information in the language of the client to make it a little bit easier for them to navigate, considering if they're a new client. So there is a way to kind of do that. But there, yeah. Okay, so anyway, let's go back to let's go back to our dashboard. And so we had our dashboard here for this signature. Let's leave that be. And I'm going to create, let's say I want to create a new transaction. So let's find the listing. Let's find the list, like you said. Let's say if we're going to be sending an offer for someone to purchase, right, a property. Well, we need a property to do so with, right? And this is where I want to show sort of the power of the tool, where it can grab information from within Matrix and the Centris tools to grab the information for a particular property. So let's see, if we find a property, let's say house, detached, two-room or story, let's say Montreal, DDO, for example. I mean, I'm just randomly clicking just to find something, because what I want to find is I want to find a seller's declaration, which I want to save on our system. So let's say randomly I'm going to take this property here, and if we scroll down, we always have some documents here. So I'm going to grab the seller's declaration. I'm going to open it up, because of course, assuming you've visited this property with your clients, assuming of course you've shown to your clients everything about the property, the research, etc., and the seller's declaration, but they have to now acknowledge that they've read the seller's declaration and that they're happy with it for the promise to purchase, right? So I've saved it, and all I need here is just the Centris number. So I'll go back to our electronic signatures. I'll click create a transaction, more InstanetForms really, because we need a form for this, right? So I'll say 2023-09-21 test promise to purchase. And here the difference is I'm going to import from Centris with the number that's there and add me as the selling broker. Of course, you could always look for by address, but if you have the Centris number, you can just copy in here and click create, and off it goes. It knows what to do. And as you can see, it found the property, the picture is there, it shows certain information, and if you scroll through, there's already information in here that the Authentisign or the InstanetForms system grabbed from the Centris databases, right? We still need a form. We still need a promise to purchase, right? So promise to purchase, add, there we go. And again, let's assume the promise to purchase is perfect, that it has all the details. I mean, I'm going to open it just for sake of argument, just to show that it's, see, it grabbed some information already in there for the seller information. It grabbed the address, inclusions, exclusions, etc. Everything is in there. Let's assume it is as it is, right? I'm just going to click and close. I'm going to finalize it. And see, before I went to signings and I created a signing, right? Whereas here, I'm going to show you another way you can access the signing feature by just clicking the three dots and choosing Send to New Authentisign. By doing that, the system will open the new signing and automatically it will import this document in, saving us a step. As you can see, we are in the signing tool and the system automatically imported our promise to purchase, which is nice, right? Of course, this is the promise to purchase. We still need the seller's declaration. And the same applies if you needed a notice of disclosure, if you need any other documents that are part of the purchase process or sale process, you can always import them later, before or later. But in this case, we click here on Docs, Documents, and we click Add a Document. So the promise to purchase is already imported, as you see. Click here on Upload Import, and we can choose from here, or we can just drop it in here. I'm just going to click Choose. I'm going to click on Downloads, grab the seller's declaration, click Open. The system imports it. And if we scroll down, as you can see, ooh, there it is. The seller's, it's a French one, but there it is nonetheless, right? And this is the one that was signed by somebody, by the seller at some point. And here our buyer is going to have to sign the acknowledgement, right? So we still don't have a buyer, right? So we have to click Add, well, I'm going to add from contacts. I'm just going to add one of myself. I'm going to add my Hotmail again, and I'm going to assign myself as the buyer. Assign signature blocks. There we go. And see, the system automatically places some signature signing blocks right away, where hopefully where it knows where to put. But see, it doesn't know where to put them all the time, right? So, but generally speaking, is there, and we still, as part of the promise to purchase, our signature here is going to be needed as well. So we need to add ourselves as a buyer's broker, right? Selling broker, I think they have it here. And we click that and see it automatically placed our initial there. So I just want to point, I want to show that, let's say in this case, let's say the buyer is not going to do an inspection, right? And if they're not doing an inspection, then their initials are required in this box here, right? Which the system doesn't place automatically. So I'm going to choose the buyer. And I actually, as you can see, everything is color coded. If you add more brokers or more buyers or sellers, whatever the case may be, the system assigns different colors there. So it's, at a glance, you can see if you chose the right person to be modifying, and at a glance, you can see if you're doing if you're placing the right person's signature or initials wherever they need to go. So let's say this is the buyer's initial. Click on it. The system drops an initial in the middle of the page, and we just move it over here where it's got to be. That's it. That's all. Very simple. And of course, like we just did before, let's say we don't like this, we get rid of it. We add a text box, and let's say, in this case, we'll say, let's say DDO. Let's say we're also DDO already. And if we scroll down to the seller's declaration signatures, right? The acknowledgement, we can also get rid of that. Put another text box and do DDO. I just want to point out that this can be moved around as well, same as anything else. And also it could be made transparent, because see, if you just go here over something, it overrides, it hides whatever is there. Whereas if you click transparent background, both things will be fighting for competition there. So in most cases, like if you're just putting in a blank field, just leave it like that. So it has the white background, and it's very clear that whatever one enters. But for responses to promises to purchase, let's say Let me go back to, so let's say if the seller would be responding and we need to put a check mark here and a number of a counter offer, then having the transparent background is better because it will show nicely within the field without erasing of the any of the words that were there before, because we want, we want the integrity of the form to be proper, to everything to show as it should be. So as you can see, we imported the seller's declaration and we have a promise to purchase. And just so the OSIC is happy with the signing order, when it comes to making a promise to purchase, setting up a promise to purchase for signature, the seller's declaration has to be first. The buyer signs the seller's declaration, and then knowing everything about the property, they sign the promise to purchase. Just the way the signing order must be set up. Is that okay so far? All right. So we have signatures, everything set up. And see, it kind of gives it, since I imported the ready document into the signing process, it takes the signing name and it adds the document's name in here. I personally don't like that. I prefer if it just said promise to purchase, let's say house in DDO, let's say, just so it makes some sense. You click on it anywhere on the screen just to exit that, and it saves the name. Anytime we're doing any of this, we can always save it, and we could exit as well. We can leave the signing process without losing our progress. So like as you had one computer, second computer, etc., and sometimes we're in and out of the office or in and out of the home office, or we're with our laptop wherever we go, right? We can start it somewhere and we can continue on a different machine, which is a very good advantage of these online tools that we have, right? But here, look, I can click back into the signing and it'll continue us where we were without losing anything. As you can see, the seller's declaration is first. The signatures are where they've been placed. Everything is fine. And see, I can click next, and you were mentioning you wanted to customize the message to our client, right? So let's go click here, customize invites. And we go into this little editing field, as you can see, where, it has like a signature, you can put a message, etc. Message to the seller, message to the broker. You can do separate invitations, right? Well, here, says seller, but really means buyer. So dear buyer, dear Mr. Buyer, here is the offer to sign. Of course, you can be more fancy with your penmanship. You can write nicer messages, etc. But let's call it enough, right? And this is, again, this is where some people put messages in the language of their choice, just to help out with the dealing with the client. We're setting them up for the signature. And I'll click. It's there. There you go. There you go. Right? And then click save and send. And again, the system completes the process. It sends everything out, and we wait. We wait a few. So sometimes the delay is a few seconds, and sometimes the delay is a couple of minutes. So you can never kind of know. Like already on my Hotmail, it came in a few seconds later, and as you can see, the additional messages here. Dear Mr. Buyer, here's the offer to sign, as we just prepared, right? So again, copy hyperlink. I'm going to open it here and paste and go. So I have to accept. And again, this is the easiest, the best way to do this is on a computer, because you have a big screen and the customer can read it and make sure everything's correct. However, it's also signable on a phone, tablet, anything, right? Doesn't matter. However, what I generally do, I'm just going to add as a habit of mine, because when I send something to them for electronic signature, the final signature, I want it to be perfect. I don't want to be changing anything, making any changes, additions, etc., or having to redo it again. So usually what I do is before I send them the signature process, I'll send them a PDF of what we're sending them just from my email. I'll send it to them on multiple PDF files, depending how many, seller's declaration, brokerage contract, etc., whatever is there. And I'll say, okay, this is draft number 1. Are these correct, Mr. or Mrs. Seller? Are these correct? And as they reply, okay, there's a mistake on here, there. Okay, let me change it. Okay, here, let me send you draft number 2. Is it now correct? So I kind of, after a few edits, if needed, I mean, there's a need for a few edits, we arrived at a finalized copy, and then we send them out to our clients, right? So here I can click Start. Click there, no inspection, click there, complete signing, right? So congratulations, you're done as a broker or whatever, we're there, done. And also, hold on, that was the buyer signing, and then we have, I'm waiting for something here. Copy link address, and see, like, since one person, so if we refresh the screen, it'll show that 1 of 2 has completed. See that? And if you click into it, it'll show you even in more detail, right? So let's say if I'm going to go in here, copy and paste this, do the signature process as the broker. Complete signing, done. And I also want to point out that since we're doing electronic signatures, we are not witnessing any of the signatures for our clients. We are purely signing as whoever we are. There is no witnessing when doing remote signings. It's just you can witness something if you're standing next to the client signing, and certain documents you can witness. And the promise to purchase you can witness. You can witness a seller's declaration, but you cannot witness a brokerage contract, because brokerage contract, you are a party to that contract. So you either sign as yourself, the client signs as themselves, and that's it. There's no witnessing whatsoever. Is that okay? Any questions, concerns? Michelle, hello as well, welcome. If you have any questions, ask away. I want to show one more sort of activity, or because this, what I've been showing is sort of just a regular residential broker working with the forms, working with the electronic signatures for our forms. My suggestion, putting it as a PDF file before sending to clients. So let's say like these documents, right? You can click here, view signed PDF, and the system automatically will load up the full signed all the documents that were signed are all together as one. I personally don't like that. I mean, you can split it into parts yourself using a different tool, but I actually prefer the individual forms and certificates. So I would click on the signed seller's declaration, and it would just show me that one. I always save these separately, okay? Because for our electronic document management in your agency, you need to store these documents separately. So like that's what I do on a regular basis. And and overall, like if the clients have sent this already and signed it, you could save it and send it as part of an email, or in your email box, you get the signing complete email. Like that's once everybody's signed, you you get that notification email that everybody signed, and you can click on individual files in here. You could just forward this email to the other broker or to whomever, and then they can click on it themselves and save it themselves on their computer. So yeah, you don't have to do it for them. There is an expiry date on these notification emails. I think it works for about a week or 10 days, 2 weeks, something like that. No more than that. But it's possible to actually reactivate it later if it expires. But yeah, if it comes back, like as you saw, came in 1 minute after everything's signed, you can click, let's say, the promise to purchase. And this is, I apologize. Okay, maybe that's gonna fix it from now on. There we go. So there you go. See, it opens up, and you only have that signed promise to purchase there, right? So whichever way it works. Is that okay? And also I would like to show, hold on a second, if I go to here, let's say if I'll forms. Let's say you're doing something more commercial. Where's BC? Oh, okay, these are recommended. Recommended English. BCG, let's say, brokerage contract general. And I'm just going to finalize it. And I'm going to send it to, oh, sorry, I clicked to see it again. I apologize. Let me exit that. 3 dots, send to new Authentisign. There we go. I want to show you how you can do initials. So let's say add myself as a buyer, doesn't matter. But actually, in this case, seller. Apologize, put myself as seller. But you have the documents. You can see everything here, right? Tools. See, we have the document, and we have a feature here when we click tools, and we have the signatory. If you click initial pages, you can choose, let's say, medium-sized initial on the bottom right of the side. So if I want to say I want initial here, and I want it to be for this person for this document, and all pages. You can choose less pages. You can choose custom page ranges. You can choose 1 document, 2 or 3, but not 5. I mean, this would be useful to commercial brokers, and you click place initials, and see every page now for every document that you desire now has an initial on the bottom. So if you're doing commercial leasing, if you're doing commercial contracts, this would be quite easy. And this you can add for all signatories that are there. Sometimes it'll put them, like if you pre-set up a number of people, it's still not perfect that it's going to kind of it's going to put all the signatures on the same spot. You're going to have to do some editing to move them around a little bit, just to allow for some spacing, like just to move it here instead of here. But that's a minor thing, considering that it's doing majority of the setup for you, which is quite convenient overall. So I hope that's useful to you as well.